直接开始吧。All right. So hi guys, welcome to our podcast. I'm Yan.
And I'm Yuancheng.
So today we're exploring two smart city programs. One is in New York City, it's called the Smart City Testbed, and one is in Hangzhou, China, it's called the City Brain 3.0.
And instead of just describing them, we will use ideas from two scholars, Michael Batty and Robert Hollands, to unpack both the promise and the pitfalls.
So Betty seems see the smart cities as data-driven organism and shaped by high frequency flows like traffic and payments, but also by low frequency shifts like housing markets.
And Holland, on the other hand, warns that the smart city label often hides contradictions, serving corporate interests, deepening inequalities, and act as urban branding.
So with those perspectives in mind, let's dive in. And I'm gonna start you guys with a general description of the New York City's program. So in New York, 2023, uh, New York launched the Smart City Testbed program. So the idea is to make the city itself a lab for new ideas, letting startups, universities, and private companies test their technologies right in real neighborhoods. And here are some of their projects. Street activity sensors. So this count how many people walk, bike, or drive through area, and the data helps the Department of Transportation redesign streets to make them safer and more efficient. And another program is called the e-spot drone. So these drones use heat cameras and laser scanners to spot where buildings are leaking energy. So that's important for saving energies and meeting New York climate rules. And another program called air quality sensors. Those are sensors placed in neighborhoods with high asthma rates. So they measure pollution levels and help guide public health actions. So at first glance, this looks like Betty's idea of high frequency city. Sensors are constantly sending out data, how people move, where energy is waste, how pollution shifts from block to block. But Betty also reminds us that data alone isn't enough. We need to connect those quick signals to slower big issues, like how the city invests in housing, the long-term climate plans, and the infrastructure. One strength of the testbed is its flexibility. Instead of committing to one massive system, it allows lots of smart experiments. Those can be tested, scaled up if they work, and dropped if they don't. And that help avoid the Betty's warning about mistaking endless data streams for real understanding of the city. But Holland would push us to think more critically. So he says the smart city projects are often about branding, catching labels like creative city or digital city that make city looks good to investors. So we here have to ask, is New York City testbed truly about helping residents, or is it more about showing off that NYC is open for innovation? Then there are issues of privacy and fairness. Street sensors often use cameras, which even if you know anonymized, can make people uneasy about surveillance. And are those projects spread across all blocks or mostly clustered in wealthy, tech-friendly parts of Manhattan? Holland reminds us that smart city projects often end up helping business interests more than everyday people. There's the inequality might be hiding in this kind of things. So the testbed has like real potential, and if it link real-time data to long-term city planning, and if it builds trust and includes all communities, Otherwise, it risks being more of a show and tell of cool gadgets than the fair people-focused smart city Holland argue for. And next, I'm gonna pass to Yuancheng about the whole system idea being presented by Hangzhou.
Okay, thank you, Yan. Now let's switch over to Hangzhou. Well, back in 2016, the city launched something called City Brain, and in 2025, they rolled out the version 3.0. And unlike New York's more decentralized test bed approach, City Brain is basically a centralized operating system for the whole city. And the core, it connects traffic lights, cameras, GPS data, and IoT sensors into one AI-powered platform. And it's really that three main things. Well, first is the traffic optimization. It controls signals in real time to cut congestion, and it gives ambulances or fire trucks a kind of green wave clearing their paths and allows them to save time, to save their lives. And the second is the governance. Different agencies like transport, health, and public security share data on the same system. And in that way, they can react faster when something happens. And third is the citizen services. The new City Brain 3.0 even adds AI assistants that help people with healthcare or permits, and it monitors risks like uh, landslides or dangerous road conditions. And the result looks pretty impressive. Hangzhou's traffic light congestion ranking dropped a lot after the city brain is started, and ambulances are reaching hospitals faster, and for every resident dealing with government services online has gotten smoother. And from Betty's perspective, this is the smartness on a big scale. He'd probably call it embedded computation, like sensors and algorithms shaping how the city flows in real time. In his view, it's like a new AI nervous system for the city. The big question, though, is does Hangzhou also use all this data to shape slower long-term changes like housing or land use? While Holland, on the other hand, would be more critical. He often points out that many self-declared smart cities are really about urban entrepreneurialization. Basically, cities partnering with big companies to boost competitiveness, not necessarily equally. And City Brain is tied closely to Alibaba, and that raises concerns about corporate dominance and vendor locking. What if the city becomes dependent on one company's platform? So there's also what he calls splintered urbanism. Smart systems may end up benefiting certain central districts, great traffic, smooth services, while poorer or areas get left behind. And then there's several lines. City Brain takes in huge amounts of data about where people go and what they want to do. And that brings up real questions about transparency and consent. While fine, while Holland would also warn about the stimulative paradox. The smart systems brand themselves as green, but the tech itself consumes a lot of energy and creates e-waste. So I think just like New York's test bed, Hangzhou City Brain shows both the promise and the pitfalls of the smart cities. On the plus side, it delivers efficiency, but if we were asking whether it also delivers fairness and justice, that's still pretty much a question.
So, in general, okay. So in general, comparing the two programs, the contrast is clear. So the New York testbed is more experimental and bottom up, lots of small pilots, no single system. And the Hangzhou City Brain is more centralized and top-down, and it's a one massive platform integrating everything. Betty would say that both cities are, grappling with the challenges of linking fast data to slow changes. Sensors can tell us where traffic is right now, but can they guide, decisions about housing, climate resilience, or inequality decades ahead?
While Holland would say both cities show how smart is often used as a brand. Like for New York, it's about showing global investors that is innovates. And for Hangzhou, it's about displaying technological leadership and attracting capital. So in both cases, the risk is that smartness serves elites before communities.
So, will the real smart city, please stand up?
Well, maybe it's neither the flashy palace of New York nor the giant battlements of Hangzhou, at least not yet.
Yeah, Betty reminds us that smart cities must, connect high frequency flows with low frequency planning.
And Holland reminds us smart cities must start with people, equality, and sustainability. It's not just technology or branding.
Thank you for joining us, and we are Yan and Yuancheng, and hope to see you guys next time.
See you.
Please like and subscribe, and whatever. All right.
Okay.